Screensavers, followed by Cheat at 8 and Players at 8:30.
Coming up tonight, I'm going to test drive a hydrogen fuel cell car. Yes! Plus, we'll give you our tips on setting up your own LAN party. Make it a success. And a frosty conversation with the star of the new Ice Age disaster flick, Dennis Quaid. Live from the Tech TV studios in San Francisco, it's the Screensavers!
And welcome to the Screensavers. I'm television's Martin Sargent.
And I'm Kevin Rose. Thanks for joining us on the Screensavers. This is the show that keeps you in close touch with the coolest stuff happening in the world of technology. It is an honor. Let's get a round of applause for television's Martin Sargent. Honor to be hosting with you tonight.
I imagine it is, Pat.
You're a big star nowadays on the old Unscrewed.
Unscrewed, 11:30 Eastern.
That's
every
right.
weeknight. Check it out. I didn't think I was going to be back hosting so soon. I hosted the show about a week ago, if these things are actually going to play when I think they are. And I didn't think I'd be back so soon. But it is a pleasure to be here because we had so much fun last week. I want to do it again and maybe for many, many Fridays to come.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
We got a great show for you tonight. Sarah Lane over there, she's going to take a spin in one of them newfangled hydrogen-powered cars.
I'm going to show you what you need to throw your own LAN party. You've been having some problems with that.
I've been having trouble with the LAN party.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to have the weekly LAN party after the weekly Dungeons & Dragons match.
Right.
And the LAN party's not going so well. Everything's on the fritz.
I think
I got it all set up wrong. You're going to help me sort that through.
Not a problem. Also, Dennis Quaid talks to us about his role in the sci-fi thriller The Day After Tomorrow.
Quaid is a genius.
Yes, he is. And Dan is over in the Nook.
I am. I'm taking your phone calls as usual. The phone number is 888-989-7879, and you can also email us at not at the screensavers@techtv.com, but g4techtv.com/asktss.
Oh, got a
There you go.
new URL.
Remember they used to call that the Babe Crowd? Now it's like Dan sitting there.
I'm the Babe Crowd. What can I say? Look at me. Day is here. There's Babe Crowd right there.
There we go.
That's right.
It's funny that we're having that hydrogen fuel cell car on the show tonight because just hours ago I bought what might be the least fuel efficient car
That's
in
right.
the city of San Francisco.
It's true.
Cadillac, baby. Yeah. Cadillac. That's America right there. 84 Eldo. Get about 8 miles to the gallon.
Let's start with the tech topic today. Martin is, of course, ruining the environment. Sarah, do you have something for us?
You know, he's not kidding. He showed it to me. It's big and huge.
He's got those wheels that
scary.
keep
It looks
spinning.
like people might be in the trunk, and
There may be.
it's like super mafia car if I ever saw one. Yeah.
You liked
Way
it,
to
didn't
go,
you?
Marty.
What did you
Yeah.
think of that car, Sarah?
It's pretty
It
nice.
did a little something for you, didn't
It's
it?
pretty nice. Pretty nice for a cruiser
No,
vehicle.
it did nothing for her, Martin. Thank
No,
very
you
much.
weren't there.
I'm
You weren't there. You were
impenetrable.
prepping, talking to the fuel cell guy while I was up showing my cool ride.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. The fuel cell beats the Eldo any day.
Oh, we'll see about that. Maybe we ought to have a little race later. I don't know about your fuel
Martin's
efficiency.
All right. I challenge you to a race, Martin Sargent.
Martin's
Fuel
just
cell
trying to
versus
make up for
Cadillac.
something else, you know.
Okay, I can hold my own.
What's the tech topic today? Speaking of technology.
Let's do that. With all the information available on the internet, of course, anyone with a computer can become an expert on almost anything, which obviously is not a good thing because information on building dirty bombs, let's say, or nuclear devices can be easily found by anybody with a computer. And even worse, the materials to build these weapons can be purchased online by anybody with a credit card, which is super frightening to me. So I want to know what you guys think of all of this. How worried are you? This is, you know, it sounds like there's a recipe for disaster online here.
I didn't even know about this. Are you serious?
Oh, come on. You should.
No, you could go online and buy the ingredients to make a dirty bomb.
I think we're going to be sued by those poor little kids who we put their face on TV with the nuke behind them. Look at those little innocent kids.
Those kids are clearly untrustworthy.
So this is a big deal,
That's a
though.
sleeper cell right there. You can
Well,
tell.
it's a serious issue, though.
It
Imagine if your children were finding, you wouldn't even want them
Well,
to
I
find
mean, I
topics
think we
like
got to
this
worry a lot
online.
more about our children finding other stuff, not, you know, how to buy uranium from
Like the stuff on
Africa.
Unscrewed.
Like the stuff we show on
That's
Unscrewed.
right.
11:30 Eastern, weeknights.
Tried to warn you.
But seriously, people can actually do this. You've looked at the sites. You're sort of a hacker kind of guy. You go to these sites and you can do this. It's kind of like what we used to do back in the day is go to the library and steal the anarchist's cookbook.
Yeah, that was the big one back in the day. I remember I used to get the text version online. You went to the library, whatever. But there is a lot of stuff you can find online. There's like how-to for small nuclear devices. There's napalm instructions.
But can you really... Okay, the instructions are one thing, but
Right.
I mean, if I can't get the ingredients, that's the real thing. Sarah was saying that you can buy this stuff using a credit card. Is that true?
I don't know about
Like
that.
from some, like, you know, rogue general over in Africa?
I know they have certain things on eBay that they've had to shut down in the past because they considered them dangerous or too dangerous to sell. eBay's had to modify their terms of service that allow certain items to be listed, certain items can't be listed. I mean, it's a big deal because you have this whole global marketplace now that everyone's getting online, everyone's posting things up for auctions. There's little underground auction houses.
I buy a Patriot missile from Uzbekistan. The feds are going to be at my door like that on eBay?
No, I agree. On eBay, not on eBay, but there's other places where people hang out online, and it's something to be concerned about.
It is something to be concerned about. I guess the issue is whether it's a First Amendment thing. I guess we're talking on a global scale, so it doesn't really matter. That doesn't even apply.
Well, I mean, the instructions, yes, I think they should be allowed. Anything should be allowed on the internet. It's like you said, it's a First Amendment thing.
Or like something a little less dangerous, like hacking. You can go to these sites and learn how to do serious damage on a computer. Should that be allowed?
No, I mean, that should definitely be allowed. The only way you can learn how to defend yourself is know what the hackers are using and know the tools. No, it is not a cop-out. How is it a cop-out?
Because
how are you supposed to know
you defend yourself, you put up a firewall or something like that. You don't learn how to hack.
No, but you have to know what they're coming after you with. If you don't know how you're going to be attacked, how can you properly defend yourself? I ask you that, Martin Sargent.
I don't know. Who would want to attack me? I don't know.
Do you have a website?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have a URL that I bought, but there's nothing there yet.
So you haven't even put up your own site yet.
IHatebees.org. There will be something there soon. Why don't we take a phone call?
Let's
I think
do
the
it.
jury's still out on this.
Thank
We
you,
can go back
Sarah.
and forth.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sarah. There they come. The bees. Tobiah joins us on the phone from Gilroy, California, Garlic Country. What's up, man?
Hey, Tobiah.
Hey, I have a question. I want to know the difference between Mozilla 1.6 and Firefox. I have Mozilla 1.6 now, and I want to know what's so great or different about Firefox.
I've also been curious about this very subject for some time now, Kevin.
Have you now?
Yes.
Well, the whole thing with Mozilla and Firefox is that they're one and the same as far as they're run by the same company. Now, Firefox is the next generation browser whose features and functionality, once they've been proven, will eventually become incorporated into Mozilla. So if you want the latest and greatest, if you want the bleeding edge, the next generation browser, the fastest rendering times when it comes to displaying graphics, then you're going to want to go with Firefox. And eventually, once they worked out all the bugs, they'll eventually turn that into Mozilla.
Now, Mozilla, this is the open source browser.
Right.
What's wrong with using, like, Internet Explorer? I use Internet Explorer.
Well, Internet Explorer is filled with all different types of bugs and holes, and they're always coming out with vulnerabilities week after week about warning you should patch or upgrade, and it seems that this open source community has done a lot better job at keeping these holes patched and actually conforming to certain specifications, which makes a big deal when it comes to this stuff.
But what if I use Internet Explorer to learn how to hack so I can defend myself?
Then you'd be just fine.
Just fine. No, seriously, I've used Mozilla in the past. I haven't used it in a couple years, to be honest with you. At the time I was trying it out, it was slower than Internet Explorer. Has that been fixed?
No, it still is slower. The whole thing about that is that Internet Explorer has been completely bundled into the operating system.
So it's been built around the operating system.
Right,
so
which
of
makes
course
the
it's
load
going to be a
times
little bit more efficient.
Now, they've done things to try and help us out. They've created like a little smart loader where they load part of the program into the memory and keep it running in the background even though you haven't launched the application, so that when you do launch Mozilla, it comes up a lot faster. Now, I got to tell you that the fact that Firefox is the proving ground for the next version of Mozilla, Firefox is a lot faster, almost as fast as IE. They're neck and neck right now.
That was a character in Star Wars, Firefox.
Firefox?
He was an X-Wing pilot. He got blown up.
You need to give it a try, though. I think you'd like it.
I will give it a try. Firefox, all right. Where, Firefox.com? Is that where I can download that?
Mozilla.org.
Mozilla.org. There we have it. Thanks, Kevin.
No problem.
Hey, we're just getting started. Learn what you need to host a LAN party, but after the break, it's the automobile of the future. No, it's not Martin's 84 Eldorado. It's a hydrogen fuel cell truck, and it's coming up right after this.
If you're tired of paying high gas prices, and you may be interested in something like this. It's a zero-emission pickup powered by hydrogen fuel cell and battery hybrid engine. A New View, a company based in Sacramento, California, is building a low-cost hydrogen-powered vehicles like this truck. Joining us here is the CEO and lead engineer, Rex Hodge, to show it off. Hey, Rex.
Hi.
How you doing? Let's take a look underneath this
All
thing.
right.
So this is a modified Nissan, huh?
It's a Nissan Frontier with a zero-emission fuel cell vehicle system in it.
So this is the fuel cell right here, huh?
Yes, that's right. We have 2 fuel cells within this vehicle that take hydrogen gas and make clean energy, clean electrical power to drive the vehicle.
Explain to me what a fuel cell is.
A fuel cell is an electrochemical device that uses hydrogen and oxygen to make water, electricity, and heat.
Now, what about as far as when you're replacing this? I mean, there was a nice, beautiful engine here before you put this fuel cell in there. How much torque does this have as compared to the standard truck as it shipped?
The electric motor that this powers, that this provides electricity to, actually has more torque than the base model engine. So this car actually accelerates faster.
Really? How about top speeds?
Top speed we do have to pay for, so this particular vehicle goes about 85 miles an hour.
Now, when you mean pay for, you mean you would have to add in like an extra fuel cell, or?
Yes, if we put a third fuel cell in here, then we would be able to go to some pretty high speeds.
Interesting. So tell me exactly how this works once you turn on the engine. What happens?
When we turn on the engine, hydrogen from a hydrogen tank goes to the fuel cell. We have an air compressor that brings air in from the outside world to provide the oxygen to make the water. And we make water, electricity, heat, and the electricity goes to the electric motor.
And how long before you have to refuel? Does it operate like a standard vehicle as far as like 500-600 miles on the freeway, or?
Yes, we can go about 250 miles in this particular vehicle. And actually under development right now are tanks that would allow us to go 350 miles.
And what is the byproduct after all this? So let's say, what's coming out of the tailpipe?
Nothing but water.
Pure water?
Pure water.
Like drinking water?
Absolutely, you could drink it. It's
so
pure
you
water.
can put a little tap inside and just refill your glass as you're going along?
You could, carry a little tea bag with you and you're set to go.
There's Martin's gas guzzler. Hello, Marty. That has to be the ugliest car I've ever seen. So tell me, can we start this thing up? I want to hear what this sounds like.
Sure, we can give it a start.
So we're going to, can we leave this top open to see how it goes? Or
Sure, we can.
Shake around? Okay.
Sure, go right ahead, hit it.
Wow, I can't even feel it vibrating hardly.
No, it really makes no vibration, and the only noise we hear is a little noise from the air blower that's pulling air into the fuel cell.
Very cool. Now, we couldn't show this thing off without actually taking it for a test drive, so we're going to give the keys over to Sarah and see how she does actually giving it a spin. But let's check in with Leo for a tip real quick.
You use a Linksys router? I use a Linksys router. Millions of people use Linksys routers. But lately, there's been an issue about Linksys routers you probably should be aware of. Now, this came to my attention thanks to an article David Berlind wrote in ZDNet. David's a great guy, smart guy. He said, I'm going to take Linksys off of my list of approved routers for one reason. It doesn't stealth the ident port. Maybe I better explain what the ident port is. As you know, routers are often used as firewalls. In fact, they make very good firewalls. And ideally, a firewall will not only close open ports, but will stealth them so they don't even seem to be visible. In the case of the ident port, that's TCP port 113, it was used by our IRC servers for DCC or to verify who you are. Sometimes email servers would use it, querying back to the client saying, who am I? Who are you? So ident did have some usefulness, and I think for good reason, Linksys probably said, well, we're not going to hide the ident port, we'll just close it. But more and more experts are saying, you really should be stealth. An open ident port is just an announcement to a hacker you exist. You can verify if your Linksys is hiding your ident port by going to grc.com and running Steve Gibson's great Shields up. He'll show you which ports are open. We don't have an ident port open here, but we do have a few others. And if you have a Linksys router with an open ident port, there is good news. Linksys now has firmware upgrades that close, stealth, I should say, the ident port. As always with a router, if you're using it as a firewall as well as a router, it's a good idea to keep an eye on these firmware updates and apply them whenever offered because they fix a lot of holes. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Leo. Are you ready to give this thing a ride?
I am. This is really cool. It
You
feels
excited?
a little different than your regular car, but okay.
Are you going to break this thing? You okay? Up next, we're going to learn more about the different techniques they use to make hydrogen fuel cell cars and some of the other projects they're working on. You got to go forward, not backwards.
This thing's right.
Including boats. No, you got to go forward. Uh-oh, she's already broken it. We'll get this all figured out when the Screensavers continues.
I don't understand.
There we go. We got that all figured out. Welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm here with Rex Hodge, CEO and lead engineer for a new View, a company that's producing hydrogen-fueled cell cars. Welcome back, Rex.
Thank you.
So the first thing I'm wondering is that I know that they're hydrogen-powered. Now,
Yes.
where am I going to go like refuel this thing? I don't see that at the gas stations yet.
Well, last year we had 8 stations in California, and this year we actually have 23 hydrogen stations. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, our governor, has signed the Hydrogen Highway order, which is going to put a whole bunch of hydrogen stations all up and down state.
Now, what about outside of California? What if someone lives in Nevada or Arizona or New York?
Outside of California, we're seeing similar hydrogen highway programs like in Illinois and in the Carolinas and in Texas. They're all coming online.
Excellent. Now, how do they go about creating this hydrogen? Where does it come from?
Hydrogen is interesting because hydrogen is like an energy currency. Whatever kind of energy you have, you can make hydrogen. So you can make it from a hydrocarbon or electricity, all these different kinds of sources.
So you have a couple different methods. We're looking at one here, the fuel processor. How does that work?
The way that works is that a hydrocarbon fuel is cracked into hydrogen and oxygen.
Oh, I see that
CO2.
right here. Okay, that's making sense
Yes. And then that hydrogen from that process goes into the fuel cell.
now. Okay, I have no idea what this says right here. I'm just going to take your word for it, though. Now, but you're telling me that this comes through a fuel processor. That kind of doesn't make sense if you're using fossil fuels, or can't you are counterproductive there? Or?
The real promise of hydrogen is to take it another step forward and to make hydrogen from clean electrical sources like solar panels and windmills.
Okay.
And we have a process for that too called electrolysis or electrolyzing. And there we split the water molecule from hydrogen and oxygen into separately hydrogen and oxygen.
And that's what we're looking at right here then.
Yes, and this process is very similar to the fuel cell process. If this were a fuel cell diagram, the arrows would just be going the opposite directions. And for electrolysis, we take water in and use electricity to split the hydrogen and the oxygen. The hydrogen stores energy. It has a lot more energy potential than the water does. And we regain that energy in the fuel cell by bringing it back in and generating electricity.
So how many solar panels is it going to take me? Do I have to have these all blanketed over my house in order to power my vehicle? Or what are you doing there as far as a clean method of doing it?
Well, we actually have a new technology that we're developing in our company that we call a solar genset. It's a non-photovoltaic way of making electricity using solar energy, so it's not a PV panel or photovoltaic panel. It's a solar concentrator where we have a parabolic dish that focuses the sun's energy on a thermal engine, and that thermal engine turns a motor which generates electricity just like a windmill does.
So is this, are we going to see this replacing solar cells? I mean, outside of cars, is this a better way to collect energy?
It's just a lot less expensive.
Okay.
And that's what's held back photovoltaics, in the past, is it's been a little pricey. We're all for photovoltaics and all kinds of renewable energies. They can all make hydrogen. But this is a particular method that's just a lot less expensive. So this could be connected to our power grid and making electricity for the power grid. And then we can pull that energy off anytime we want, make hydrogen, and put it in a zero-emission fuel cell vehicle.
Now, when you go to put it in the vehicle, are we talking about just going to a gas pump? I mean, it's not a liquid.
It's a gas, but we have a hose, just like with gasoline, and a little nozzle that we put into the car. You plug it in, turn a lever, wait about 5 minutes, and you're refilled.
Now, we also seen a picture here of a fuel cell boat. Is that something that you're working on as well?
Yes, this particular boat is 18-passenger boat, 30-foot long. It's completely quiet. Much more enjoyable boating experience than having a loud diesel engine powering your boat.
Now, what about, I've heard of, the first time I heard of hydrogen was like hydrogen bombs in school. I mean, what about safety here? I mean, is there any danger?
It's not a nuclear device,
okay.
So it's not going to go create a mushroom cloud or anything like that. In fact, it's a lot safer than gasoline is. We're much more efficient, and so we have less energy content. And so if you had a massive crash with a fire, it would be much, much less of an event than it is with a gasoline car today.
Interesting. So now what about cost? Let's say I want to go out and buy one of these trucks. I mean, they look pretty cool. Are we talking typical pricing to what we see in hybrid vehicles nowadays?
Well, a little over a year ago, it would have cost $1 million for that vehicle. And this year, it's $100,000. And in the next couple of years, we should be around the same price as a regular vehicle, and then we start getting cheaper because we have fewer parts. There's fewer things inside that car, and they're easier to make. And so, and a bonus is you make electricity. We have a plug in that car that you can plug any 110 appliance into. So it has a lot of advantages over current vehicles.
What do you think about these hybrid cars that they have out nowadays, like the Civic or the Prius? Or do you get like, they're topping us? Or
No, I think it's great because for the first time in 100 years, we have something other than just a combustion car powering your vehicle. So people are getting used to new things.
Excellent. Now, meanwhile, Sarah has been out taking your truck for a spin. Let's check with her and see how she's doing. Sarah, can you reach the pedals?
Yeah, the seats go forward just like they do on regular cars. So yeah, I can reach everything fine. Took it around the block a couple times, and I will say, that it drives like a dream. I couldn't get it started right away. I was having a hard time because you really kind of got to get down on the gas pedal. But once it's going, it goes really well. The thing that I noticed the most is that as soon as you start to ease up on the gas, the car wants to slow down. And the reason, as it was explained to me, is that what it wants to do right away is start regenerating some power. So as soon as you take your foot off the brake, it's like, okay, we want to conserve some energy here. So I really get that slowdown. So you almost don't need to brake the way you do with a regular car. It's almost, it's driving a whole different way.
That's like the Civic that we got a chance to play with, the hybrid Civic. It would slow you down and recharge the cells as well.
Yeah, and at first I was thinking, oh, this is sort of weird, but now that you know, as I understand the way that it's working, you figure, well, you just drive a little bit differently, you know? Give it a little bit more gas, but it's good.
Would you buy one?
I would, because I really believe in the, alternative fuel. I'm really into the fuel cell stuff. I hope that they come out. I know that there's companies that are coming out with this later next year, and I'm into it. If the only emission is water, I'm into it. So 2 thumbs up for this Nissan.
Excellent. Thank you, Miss Lane. And thanks to Rex for bringing us this car today. If you want to learn more about fuel cells and hydrogen-powered cars, check out their website at anewview.com.
Windows XP makes it really easy to share files and folders across your home network. So this is how you set it up. It's really simple. All you do is right-click on a folder, whatever, and go down to Sharing and Security. Now under the Sharing tab, check Share this folder on the network. And you can also change the share name to whatever you want. In this case, it's Kevin for jail, or premonition. And then that's it. And then the next thing that you do is go to the Run command, type in / and then the IP address, and it'll show all the different shares that you're doing. So it's easy, not bad. So don't go anywhere after Dennis Quaid talks about his latest movie, The Day After Tomorrow. And after the break, Martin's been having major problems setting up his weekly LAN parties. Kevin's going to give him some tips when Screensavers continues.
Welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm Kevin Rose.
And I'm Martin Sargent. So coming up in this half hour, find out how they created the icy scenes in that blockbuster hit, The Day After Tomorrow, from actor Dennis Quaid. Wow.
And what would we recommend to clone your hard drive? We'll tell you all about that with our next caller.
Now, Kevin, every time I invite my posse over for our weekly LAN party, I always run into some kind of problem. Not enough speakers, not enough power.
You're always calling me.
No women, not enough serial numbers, not enough snacks. So I invariably end up calling you to try to troubleshoot it. So I just want to know it start to finish now, so I don't have to bug you anymore. How to have a good LAN party.
All right, let's start at the very beginning. And the most important thing, or one of the most important things, is the type of box that you use to connect all the wires. Now, we have a couple of hubs here, and we have a switch/router here. Now, the differences between the two is that a lot of people have these sitting at home. These are old hubs that, are just cheap. You can pick up at your local Best Buy for like 10, 15, 20 bucks. And the problem with the hub is that there's no really smart technology in here, so that every time you connect a person to the back, every single packet goes out of every single port. And the reason that really sucks is because when you're playing a game, you'll have packet collisions. So when the information is trying to go back and forth between users, it's bumping into other packets. It calls network slowdown. You ever get that jerkiness when you're playing a LAN party game?
Yeah.
This is the reason why, because you have a crappy hub.
No kidding.
Yes.
I just want to point out LAN party for anyone who's uninitiated with the term. That's just when you hook a bunch of computers up together so you can play video games against each other.
There you go.
Okay.
So this one here, this is a hub or a switch. This is a switch/router, and the switch actually has smart components in there that know where to send the information.
I see. So these hubs are dumb.
Right.
These are smart. The
Smart
routers.
devices. Exactly. You're going to spend a little bit more for these, though. Next
Is it worth it, though? Should I go?
Definitely.
You got to go with that,
You got to go
right?
with a switch. At least a switch.
How
This
much
is a
more is it
router.
going to cost? It's not that much more.
Extra 20 bucks, extra
20
25
bucks, definitely worth it.
They've gotten cheap nowadays. So next thing that you're going to want, now most people don't think of this, is long Ethernet cables. It's very important to have, you can't always be sitting all next, if you have 10 guys around, you can't have 6-foot cables because you're not going to have
You don't want
enough room.
that, especially the guys who come to my LAN party.
That's right.
You don't want to be too close to any of those.
So this is like a 30-foot cable here, 40-foot cable, and we have a couple, 30-foot, 15-footers.
Doesn't matter what color?
Doesn't matter what color. This is, color coordinated, so you know.
Now, how
difference.
fast are these? Are these just your standard Ethernet 10 megabits?
Yeah, just 10/100. If you have gigabit switch, if you spent the extra money, you can get cable that's certified to go gigabit speeds.
Are you
But
ever going to really use that,
You
though?
really
You're
don't
never
need
going to
it.
use that.
100 megabit is fine, which is all the standard stuff that you're going to pick up.
Okay.
Next thing that we have are monitors. Now, it's very important with the positioning of the monitors that you position them in a way that people can't cheat off of you. I'm sure you probably had the people glancing over your
People
shoulder.
bring mirrors.
Yes, that's not a good thing. So basically, when you're setting them up, back-to-back works fine. Also, there's some shielding that you can put around them. You can even get some cardboard, go on the side there, create a nice little shield so that it blocks people. They can't see what you're doing. They can't snipe you. They can't sneak up on you, that type of thing.
These are really nice, too, because, I got this one guy that comes to my LAN party with a 21-inch CRT. He's like, got to bring that over every week.
Well, the CRTs, though, are nice because they're a little bit better for gaming, faster refresh rates, but we have all the LCDs in our LAN party just because it makes it so much easier to carry around, like you said. Let's move on down the line here.
Oh.
We have even more stuff. Now, we have surge protectors here now. Everyone knows it's important to have enough outlets.
This is really important because one time the power went out during our LAN party, and it was a very contested game. I was clearly going to win, but no one else agreed with me. You have one of these that can keep that from happening.
Well, if the power goes out, the power's still going to go out.
Well, with the UPS, though, if you got uninterrupted power supply,
this is not a UPS, though, Marty. But if you did have a UPS, that's a great addition to your LAN party game. A little expensive, a little heavy to carry around. Another thing you want to look out for is there's actually kits that you can test out and see which circuit you're on. You don't want to put 10 machines on the same circuit. You're going to, break the circuit breaker, have to go in the dark and flip it back. So make sure you're on opposing walls when you're in different circuits. That's the best thing to do as far as that goes. Next thing we want to keep moving is the headphones here. You want to make sure that you have headphones so you're not, hearing everyone's footsteps, everyone's gameplay. It's always nice to have a pair of headphones when you're playing.
This I completely disagree with you.
Oh, you like to hear the gameplay.
You want to be able to hear people. You're yelling at each other. It's a social environment.
I agree with yelling at each other, but you can still do it with the headphones. I like to sneak up on people. I don't want other people hearing what type of power packs I'm picking up. You obviously don't play that many online games.
Play all kinds of online games, but that's the point. If we could play the LAN party with everyone at their own home computer at their own home.
That's true.
That's why we don't use the headphones, because we may as well. If we're wearing headphones, we're sitting in the same room, we can't hear each other.
You can do it either way.
Use the speakers.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you the right way to do it.
Okay. Martin has his way out. My next thing, this is very important, you have to have the original games. Don't go there with just one copy of the game thinking you can make copies for all your friends. A lot of the times, and they're even getting smarter nowadays, even when you're playing on a local area network, if you have a connection to the internet, they will go out and make sure that you have proper serial numbers for each game copy. This didn't used to be the case. If you're playing a local game, you could copy the game like crazy. Not that I've ever done that, but you can do that. And now it's going out and checking for that, so it's very important everybody buys their own copy, and it's keeping it legal at the same time.
Is this a good game,
Far Cry?
No, I'm
dude.
unfamiliar with the Far Cry.
Of
course I played Far Cry.
You understand everything? Is everything clear?
Yeah, my next LAN party is going to be the best one ever. Thank you very much. You want to come?
Yes, I would love to go.
Really?
Yeah, let's hang out.
Will you bring Sarah?
No, she's not coming up.
I'm not going to your LAN party, Marty. Stay where you guys are. We explore the benefits of cloning your hard drive in just a bit. But up next, the star of Ice Age movie The Day After Tomorrow, Dennis Quaid, reminisces about disaster flicks and his science fiction movie career. That's all when the Screensavers continue.
He's breaking the law. He's doing something wrong there. He's got to be breaking the law.
Drawing on the interns.
Isn't she like 16 or 17, Dan? Isn't that illegal?
No comment. No comment.
Like he just said, he can't help it.
I don't think so.
It's a sickness with that man.
He can't help it.
Hey.
20.
Yeah.
She's 20. She's
20.
good.
Oh, it is legal. Okay.
Oh,
Just
okay.
barely made it.
What a dirtbag.
Oh, they're making out now. Stop it, you guys. Oh.
No, don't show it. No. Okay, good
okay.
thing. Let's take a phone call.
All right.
Juan joins us on the phone from Sicklerville, New Jersey. Hey, Juan.
Hey, Juan.
Hey. All right. Here's my problem.
How you
I
doing?
was trying to install Microsoft XT over Millennium, and it was a bad copy, so I go to reformat. I accidentally deleted the partitions on my drive. And now I cannot reinstall them or put them back.
Oh, that's too bad. Let's take another call.
Now, Juan, when you said it was a bad copy, Microsoft does a pretty good job at burning these things. Is this a legitimate copy?
Yeah, bad copy.
Oh, no.
Well, Juan.
Did you download this, Juan?
No, my sister burned a copy for me, and apparently...
So now you're calling us to make us complicit in a crime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Should we help this
My
guy?
sister burns me copies of XP all the time. I mean, it works out. But we can help you out. We have some software. How much data are you looking to restore?
Just my MP3s, movies, and games and such.
Okay.
Yeah, which were probably all stolen as well.
Oh, yes.
It's not funny, dude. You're taking food out of the game developers' babies' mouths.
Yeah, like they need the extra cash. Anyway, let's not get into that. There is a good application called binarybiz.com. Go there. It's called Virtual Lab Data Recovery. And now the problem with this is it's a little shareware application you can run there, and it will attempt to recover the partitions for you. But they charge, it's an expensive piece of software because it's for drives that have been damaged.
He's not going to pay for it anyway.
Yeah, since you're pirated in anyway, it's free for you. Now, it does cost a bit of money, though, and but it does the job. I've actually deleted some partitions on my drive that I needed to recover, ran this piece of software, was able to recover everything that I needed, no problem. So the website, binarybiz.com.
All right, I don't think we should have helped that guy.
Why?
I don't know, leaves a bad taste in my mouth when I help thieves and scofflaws.
You've never downloaded an MP3, ever?
I never have downloaded an MP3. I don't even know how. That's the truth.
Thank you, Juan.
Thanks, Juan.
Now, everyone's talking about the freak tornado scene in the movie The Day After Tomorrow when the entire city of L.A. is completely obliterated.
See, I'm moving to L.A. That's not cool.
So am I.
Yeah, I have been pondering what the star of The Day After Tomorrow might think about global warming and the Ice Age onslaught. I mean, who hasn't been thinking about this?
So
and Patrick Norton got a chance to find out the answer to that very question in a recent tete-a-tete with actor Dennis Quaid.
He starred in some of our favorite sci-fi flicks, from Inner Space and The Right Stuff right up through Frequency, and now he's the star of the new blockbuster movie, The Day After Tomorrow. It's a major disaster movie that plays to the dangers of global warming. Actor Dennis Quaid joins us now by satellite from Los Angeles to talk about his latest film. Welcome to the Screensavers, Dennis. When you were looking at the script for this, did you see global warming? Did you see a big classic disaster flick? What motivated you to pick this particular movie?
A big classic disaster flick. You know, I've been a fan of them since Earthquake when I was a kid.
Absolutely.
And this is Roland Emmerich who created Independence Day, and I knew it would be something fantastic. And indeed, The Day After Tomorrow was the mother of all disaster movies.
Was it fun to have the Steve McQueen role from the Towering Inferno? Was that like a cool position to be in?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was the Steve McQueen role. Either that or the Charlton Heston role. But I'd rather be the Steve McQueen role.
It's kind of fun. You've done a ton of science fiction over the years, done some great films. Some people complain about the rapidity of the Ice Age onslaught and The Day After Tomorrow is bad science. I mean, does bad science, hard science, does it matter? Is it just about storytelling, or?
It's a movie. It's a movie. You know what I mean? It's about storytelling. But it is about something real, which is global warming, which is an issue we'll probably all be dealing with more and more in the coming century. But it's a movie that keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's a wild ride.
Definitely is. You've got some pretty intense scenes. You're trudging through New York. The Ice Age begins. Was the snow real? Was it blowing? Were you freezing? Was it all acting? What was going on there?
Well, the snow was made out of shredded Pampers, actually.
It wasn't too cold an environment?
No, it was. We shot at Montreal. It's 40 below outside, but on the soundstage it was like 80 degrees. And, they had the wind machines blowing at fake snow at 100 miles an hour in that face. And, that was about the only...
So it was probably more painful than cold.
Yeah.
You're doing,
and we're wearing like polar gear too, so we're doing an anti-toxin sweat inside of our suits.
So it was a cleansing experience.
It was all good. Yeah, it was all good, like going to a spa.
You've been making movies for a bunch of time, but looking at the way they made Inner Space versus what it was like, the Inner Space and The Right Stuff and the early flicks versus the stuff today, how much as an actor has it really changed, or does it impact the way you deal with it?
For doing special effects movies, they're actually easier to do now than they used to be. It used to be sort of, the effects used to be laborious and sort of clumsy, and now it's it's such a high art that you really don't have to spend much time on the set because they can do so much more in post.
Mm-hmm. Does that make it easier? Are they shorter shoots, or is it pretty much the same 6 weeks and run for the next project?
Well, it never was 6 weeks.
Sorry. I work on it's probably live television. Everything
this was
short.
4 months. It's 4 months. It was a big story, but the effects are actually a little easier to take. Either that, or I'm just getting used to it.
That'd probably be a good thing. Any more? Do you enjoy science fiction? I mean, we were talking about this yesterday. We were talking about Inner Space, Dragonheart, Dreamscape, Frequency. Do you like sci-fi, or is it just a kind of role you find yourself playing?
No, I really like these kind of movies, and like I said, I've been a fan of disaster movies since I was a kid, and I wanted to be part of this.
Very cool.
This is the kind of movie I really like to go see. I mean, I have a very eclectic taste. I enjoy going to see small independent films as well, but I love a big summer popcorn movie, and this is what The Day After Tomorrow is.
When you're lining up for that, do you have a big home theater system in your house? Would you rather see them in a theater with 1,000 other people? How do you like to watch them?
Much rather see it in a theater with 1,000 other people. because it's a group experience. You know, you get to watch everybody else freak out.
It's always a plus, get the reactions.
Yeah.
Speaking of people freaking out, it's been interesting to watch. Environmental groups are saying, hey, there's a lesson to be learned here. Is it interesting to watch people, react to global warming for a change as the movies come out?
Well, the movie, besides being, just a movie, it's also about something real, which is global warming. And certainly it wouldn't happen all in one day like it happens in our film, but it is an issue that we're going to have to be dealing with in the next century. And so, that gives a little something else to it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Dennis. Now, be sure to check out The Day After Tomorrow. It's in theaters everywhere right now.
You can check out more details about this film at thedayaftertomorrow.com.
So, while we were watching that interview, I was putzing around on internet, and I learned 5 things that you probably didn't know about Dennis Quaid. You want to hear them?
Let's do it.
All right, here's number 5. Dennis Quaid, it turns out, was once threatened with death by famed rock and roll pedophile Jerry Lee Lewis. Do you know that? But then, according to some reports, Quaid threw Jerry Lee Lewis off the roof of a La Quinta Motor Inn, and now everything between them is cool.
How do you get this stuff?
I was found it on the internet. Here's another one. Number 4. Dennis Quaid once worked as a clown. This was in 1978, right after clowns were first invented. Did you know that? Number 3. Dennis Quaid was a college dropout, but he sure as hell graduated from charm school. Number 2. Dennis Quaid's lovely wife, Meg Ryan, dumped him for the surly and dangerous-minded Australian master and commander, Russell Crowe. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Side note, Russell Crowe is shorter and less agile than the fox like Dennis Quaid. Everyone knows this, and it makes Russell Crowe crazy. And number 1, Dennis Quaid was in the movie Dreamscape. There you go. 5 things you probably didn't know about Dennis Quaid that I learned on internet.
Thank you, Marty.
11:30 Eastern, Monday through Friday, baby.
Wow, I've really missed those top 5 lists, Marty. Really. Coming up after the break, we're going to help a caller figure out which hard drive cloning program suits him best. It's all after these messages.
Steven joins us on the phone from Ocean Township, New Jersey.
OT!
Hey, Steven.
Hello?
Hey, Steven.
Hi.
Hi. What can we help you with today, sir?
Yeah, well, my computer's the work of the devil. It's a Dell with Windows on it. So, I've had it for about 2 years, and it's on its 3rd hard drive. So, I've been wanting to copy them. And I saw a program called Symantec Ghost, and you can make these images of your hard drive.
Oh, you're going straight to hell for that one.
Yeah, so, but then I found out that you don't really get any storage efficiency when you make the ghost image. It would actually be like the full size of what you were copying. So I knew what the benefits of using this program would be over just going to the command prompt and using Xcopy to a different hard drive.
Well, you probably want to go with Ghost, because in my experience, when you use the Xcopy, it sort of messes with the partition manager. You follow me? It has to do with the different file types. Your 32-bit's going to conflict with your 16-bit and sometimes get on top of your 8-bit. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Martin just made
all that up. I don't know. Kevin, tell him the answer.
So, Steven, the problem that you have going on here is that you said you were talking so fast to me. I couldn't hear what you were saying. So you want to use either Xcopy or Ghost? Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay, and you were wondering which one is better.
Well, yeah, because all I need to do is basically just copy the hard drive. I don't need a saved image or anything. So, but since I found out there aren't any storage efficiencies, there was Ghost. What would be more cost efficient?
Okay. So, do you have a DVD burner?
Yes.
Why not just burn your data, back it up to a DVD manually?
I don't know. I have 24 gigs on there. You have to use quite a lot of DVDs.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, do you have any extra hard drives that you would be able to dump this Ghost partition or this Ghost image to?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the only thing about Xcopy is that it's not going to copy files that are in use. So if you want to back up the entire OS, such as Windows and all of your applications and things like that, Ghost is going to be a better option. Now, just to let you know, there's other options available other than Ghost. Let me think of some other ones here. Again, I totally forgot about what other options there are. There's Xcopy, which does all the files. There's Ghost and...
Locksmith 5.0.
No. What's that other one? Dan, what's that other option for copying and backing up your... Retrospect. Retrospect is another...
Yeah. Also, Nero does.
Yeah, Nero
There's a backup utility in there as well.
Will that copy locked files, though, or files that are in use?
No, it won't copy files
Okay.
image, no.
So you might want to check out Retrospect. I love Retrospect because it does also incremental backups, meaning that as you change files, if you just modify a Word document or something like that, it knows not to go through the entire backup routine again, but just back up that one particular document that's been changed. So a couple good options, either use Ghost or Retrospect. They're both going to cost you some money, and that's about it. Xcopy, really not that good. People don't use it anymore.
Steven, glad I could be of service.
Thanks for the call, Stephen. Now stay where you are. Up next, we're going to check our inbox to see what's on your mind when the Screensavers continues.
You about to go to jail and all your little friends.
It's that time again. Sarah, do you have any final emails?
I do. I have quite a few. So let's start with one from Joseph. I'm curious, how much RAM is good for a laptop? 512 megabytes or 1 gigabyte and 1 DIMM or 2?
Marty?
I mean, if you can get the 1 gigabyte, go with the 1 gigabyte. You know what I'm saying? More is better.
He's quick.
He is quick.
Who knew?
Leo was never that fast, even. That's amazing, Marty.
Is Leo still here, by the way? Hey, what's up, homie? How you doing? I'll see you at the bar later. I got first round of drinks. Yeah. Our usual table at Applebee's. See you there.
Uh-oh. Not good.
To answer the question properly, you should definitely go with at least a half gigabyte of RAM. And go with 1 DIMM. If you can't afford the full gig, go with a half gig, but go with 1 DIMM because it gives you 1 extra slot in case you ever want to upgrade in the future.
Can you get a whole gig on 1 DIMM?
Yeah, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. So if you have the money, spend it, but if not, just go with a half gig.
I say do it, man. Live luxuriantly.
Next one comes from, it says Smash, and in parentheses, Ben. So, okay, Smash. He says, hey, you did a big segment on BitTorrent. Don't forget to mention BitToogle. That's the torrent file search engine powered by Google. So it's www.bittoogle.com.
Very cool.
Is that actually affiliated with Google?
No, it is not.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
it's not? Powered
If I
by
was
Google.
Google, I'd sue that Toogle.
Do we have time for one more? Or is
Real
this just
quick.
getting too weird? Okay. Caleb says, I'm out of my Xbox and I can't flash my chip. I'm using an Executor Lite 23B Lite and Xbox V1.0 Thomas DVD drive. Been trying to flash it with Memorex CDRWs. Can you tell me which brand of CDRWs the drive that can read?
That's the problem.
Reinstall Windows.
No, you need DVD-R. DVD-R is not CDRWs. It's much easier. That is it for this edition of the Screensavers.
I'm Martin
Got
Sargent.
those.
Oh, yeah. Thanks everyone. Had a great time. Thanks for having me again.
Good night.